All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into more hotline calls. We get into uh, attacks in New York City on heroes, on legends being attacked in New York City. I got a Lowe's update for everybody. What else we got? Talk about the storm we had here in Texas recently and some Spearhead leadership updates for you guys and all that, plus a Cage fact. Can never forget the Cage fact. This is a good one this time. They're all good. What am I saying? All that's coming up right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti. It's a show that talks about nothing but finds the lessons and everything. We try to have a good time doing it, share a few laughs, roast a few people, whatever we got to do to have a good time. So hope everybody is having a good week. Randy over here is, I don't know what Randy's doing over here right now. All right, had to take a quick pause break to make sure Randy was okay. It turns out he was just scared of the tripod setup back here with the lights and the cameras and the bitchin' technology. That's a Nic Cage impersonation reference from an old SNL clip when they did Celebrity Jeopardy. I think actually Jimmy Fallon did. I'm pretty sure Jimmy Fallon was Nic Cage in that skit. But I can't remember 100%. I think it was him, but that's what that was from anyway. Hope everybody had a good week. Mine was okay. Very busy. I am oversaturated with stuff that needs to get done. Oversaturated with stuff that needs to get done. That's the best way I can describe it. And I'm making the mistake, and I'll talk about it here in a second with the Spearhead updates. But I'm piling on the tasks to get done. And I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why. And it's becoming overwhelming. I would love to have either the money or just somebody to come to the house for a week. Just stay here for a week. And I wish I had the money to just pay them like, hey, this is the stuff that needs to get done that anybody can do. Like unpack boxes, vacuum, mow the lawn, dust and clean the house and kitchen, keep that up to date. Make sure the laundry is done. I don't even need it to be folded. Actually, I prefer not to be folded because I end up having to refold anyway because I like my clothes folded a particular way. Just little things like that need to get done, and I'm not doing them on a regular basis because I have a priority list of things. LPDS is a priority. Working out is a priority. Spearhead is absolutely a priority. My job is technically a priority only because I need the money. So health and wellness priority. I got, med appointments and stuff like that I schedule regularly. Not regularly. I'm not unhealthy. It's just stuff I like to schedule. And I continue to pile on stuff. And the dating, I guess that's not a priority for me right now because I've been putting that off. Relaxing, going on a weekend getaway, vacation, doing something like that also doesn't seem to be a priority for me. I would like it to be, but I'm constantly working on my time management at the same time that I'm adding more things to my plate. And I do this. This is what I do. I pile stuff on, and I'm okay with that. I get that. I can't sit in a state of nothingness mundane, no rhyme or reason living for too long. If I have the open time, maybe I'll spend a little bit being a bum for a couple days. And then I quickly realize, like, oh, I have this much time open every day. Let's fill that up with something. That's how I started running half marathons and marathons. That's how I started. I went back to get my master's a while back. I mean, only because it was free, but little things like that is like I have the time. I can't be stagnating, because if you're not moving forward and pushing the envelope in the pursuit of happiness, joy, contentment, learning new experiences, whatever, you're going backwards. There's no such thing as standing still, in my opinion, for me anyway. You guys can have your own thoughts on that. That's fine, and I would support them. But for me specifically, if I'm not doing something to move the ball forward, even if I fail at it, like I still learned something. I still got education and growth and lessons out of something. I don't care about failing at something. It doesn't mean like I wasted that time. I wasted that time if I try something and I quit for no other reason, just because it's like, oh, it's too much work, or I don't like it, or whatever it is. But if I fail at something, that's whatever. I fail at a lot of stuff constantly, all the time. I also learn a lot of lessons constantly, all the time. So that I try to bring to you guys, so that you guys don't have to do the failures. You already just got the lessons. That's what we do here. Anyway, long story longer, my week is constantly busy. I'm continually trying to plan better and manage my time better so I can get it all in. I'm trying to film batch for the stuff I got to film for Spearhead, to put content out, to bring value out to people, to get eyeballs on, to provide some sort of a little bit more credibility to the business. LPDS, obviously I'm doing. Plus I gotta do stuff for work, and then all the other stuff I got going on. So it's been busy, and I need a break, but I don't want a break right now. I want to keep going. So it's a balancing act, and I got to figure that out for myself. So anyway, we'll just get right into the current events here. Steve Buscemi was attacked in New York City recently. Random attack, very similar to when Rick Moranis got attacked like a year or two ago, and similar to what a lot of women have been receiving, being the victim of in New York City lately. This is just what's being reported, by the way. What's not being reported is the rampant drug use right on the streets, the doing the JOs right on the streets, the crime and stabbings and robberies that are happening on another level in New York City the past couple years. I've heard many people say that New York City, Manhattan specifically, that part of New York is worse than it was in the 80s and 90s before Giuliani came in and started cleaning things out. Ed Koch maybe a little bit. I don't know. I was too young to know who spearheaded, if you will, and I will, the cleanup of New York City in the 80s and 90s. But they said they feel like it's worse. But what's being reported on is also not good. Dozens of women are just getting randomly punched. One of the suspects, I don't know if he's being charged or if he got arrested for it, but he came out and said, "Yeah, I'm running for mayor, and I'm proving that the city's so bad that you can just go up and punch anybody you want and not get in trouble for it. And I'm going to run for mayor so I can clean up the mess." Even though he's the mess, he's the guy punching the women, and he said he's trying to prove the point that you could just go up and punch women and get away with it. See, but if I'm mayor, that won't happen. Why wouldn't it happen? You'd be the mayor. You'd be allowed to do it without getting in trouble, even more so. Because you're the mayor. You'd make your own rules. That's what the mayors are doing over there in New York. They're making up their own rules. So that guy's been punching women. And then Steve Buscemi is the most recent recipient of random acts of violence in New York City. And this is where you draw the line. Now, the line should be 0, really. But for the New York City officials, the politicians who were telling the police not to do anything about it, their line is different than 0. They don't have a 0 tolerance from random acts of violence, apparently. They have a lot of tolerance for it. But there has to be a line somewhere, and this has to be it. Steve Buscemi is a legend in New York City. He's a legend in the nation. He's not just an actor, okay? He's not just an actor who people idolize because he's a good actor and he's been in good movies and he's played good parts in TV shows as well. He was a firefighter before he was an actor, okay? First responder, FDNY. And then he became an actor. And then he blew up as a prominent quality actor and a celebrity. And then when 9/11 happened, he put back on the FDNY gear to go help with the recovery efforts. Okay? If you want to idolize a celebrity, a Hollywood celebrity, there's really no better example. Maybe there's one. But Steve Buscemi is at the top of that list. Meanwhile, people are idolizing all these other jabronis out there who flap their gills about their political stances and do nothing of actual value. But because they act good and they've been in great movies, it's okay. They get idolized. They're experts in policy and whatever products they're pushing on commercials and what have you. Meanwhile, this guy doesn't say mum. Mum's the word from Steve Buscemi on political stuff. He acts, he puts out great movies, and he helps the people that need to be helped. And when he's getting punched randomly and having to go to the hospital for and receiving injuries because of the random acts of unchecked violence going on in New York City, somebody has to slap the police commissioner and the mayor upside the head and tell them it's cut the crap already. Meanwhile, the mayor is out there out loud. This is not I didn't make this up. This is not a bit. And I don't care about your political views. I don't care even about my political views. It's not about that. This is a guy who was an elected official, okay? Who enough people thought that this person would lead their city into prosperity and improvement and greatness. This guy on public television said all the stereotypical jokes out loud. I don't know if by accident or if he thought he was making like a good point. Like, this is a great idea, thinking outside the box. He's talking about all the illegal immigrants that are flooding into New York City that he's doing nothing about. He's giving, he's helping them get money and all this other stuff that his own residents and citizens of the country are not allowed to get. Anyway, that's beside the point. He was saying how, we have all these illegal immigrants in here. We don't know what to do with them, but we have all these open jobs that nobody wants to do, like lifeguard. And here, all these immigrants are really good swimmers. So why can't we just train them to be lifeguards too? They're already good swimmers. So let's make them lifeguards. Boom, problem solved. Now we got jobs filled. Now they're producing for the community. And he's sitting there actually thinking that his wildly stereotypical, like pretty obvious, like Hispanics swimming over to this country or whatever, the age-old joke and trash talk, he thought that was like a good idea. Like, this is a guy thinking outside the box. He's solving problems for the city. And nobody's sitting there telling him, like, hey, shut up, dude. You can't say that. You can't stereotype an entire cultural nationality of people because of a joke, a derogatory joke. He's sitting there just patting himself on the back. Clueless idiot. And Steve Buscemi's over here clearing through rubble to look for for survivors and clean up the mess after a terrorist attack. And he can't even walk safely on the own streets that he protected and served because his leadership is not doing anything to protect and serve him. So, bottom line, it's a tragic event. It's an act of terrorism almost. And something needs to be done already up in New York. Something needs to be done. I love New York City. I love it. I have no desire to go there right now. And I'm stupid and fake courageous. I have no problem going to places that I think are dangerous just because like nobody's going to mess with me. I'm 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing. I'm dangerous. But I have no desire to go up and because I don't want to be disappointed. I want to go up there and be like, wow, what a dump. Now it was bad when I was up there during COVID. It was getting bad. Crime was up, homelessness was up, and the drug use and the JOs, the public JOs was up. Plus the stores were closed. At least it was empty. The city was basically empty besides the rabble and a few others, because most of it was still kind of shut down. So it wasn't terrible. Like I felt safer because there was room to run around. The subways weren't filled and packed and whatever. Now they are. Now everything's back. It's a sardine can in New York City, but it's mostly filled with rabble and riffraff and shenanigans going on. I just don't want to be. I don't want to go up there and be disappointed and like, what happened to this city? So no desire to go up there until something gets done. For the love of God, Steve Buscemi. He's an icon. He is. They should have a statue of him in the city to commemorate his contributions to the city. Anyway, I'm done bitching about him. Moving on, there was a commercial on. Was it a commercial? I don't know. I saw videos online of it, of President Joey B. Biden. It's not his middle name's not B. I don't know why I said B. Challenging Emperor Trump to debates because Trump was trash talking on Twitter again. And now, the mean tweets are coming out, so people don't like that because they're mean, even though the country is going to hell in a handbasket. Personal opinion, I know people are not going to agree with that. Whatever. Hit me up in the comments about it. Shit talk me in the comments. I'm fine with that. But he goes and he's challenging, now he's saying, you want debates, Donald Trump? Let's debate. I'll even do it twice, pal. What did he say? Make my day or something like that. So he challenged him. And now you might be thinking, well, Libretti, you just said he's not going to be the candidate last week. You made that prediction. I might double down on that prediction now after that came out. First of all, it was obviously a scripted piece. I don't know how many takes it took them or how many drugs they had to pump him full to get him to be awake enough and alert enough to read. And this is a perfect thing to put out there, piece of content to put out there when you're not going to debate because you're not going to be the candidate. He knows he's going to get his delegates that he needs during the convention coming up pretty soon. I don't know when that is. The Democratic National Convention will say, okay, well, Biden's our guy, and then he's going to come out and be like, well, I got the delegates. That means I can pick who replaces me. So they don't have to actually go to a vote. So the people don't pick. None of the American citizens get to pick and vote in whatever primaries or whatever it is they do just to make their selection. He's going to get the delegates and he's going to get to pick. So now it becomes a matter of selection as opposed to an election. And I know if people have heard that before and you probably think one way or the other on it, fine, whatever. But that's what he's going to do. And this is perfect because now he could say like, well, I was totally fine when ready to debate him. Challenge was accepted. I didn't back down. I'm a tough guy. To keep putting on the ruse that he's not maybe dead already, that he's still alive. And then he's going to pull out the last neck and it's going to be Gavin Newsom, slick back hair, or it's going to be what do you call it? What's her name? Michelle Obama. Big Mike, as some people call her. Not me, but some people call her Big Mike. And if you don't know what that conspiracy is, just take a couple hours out of your day and go look it up. It's very funny. It's funny. Okay. Have a little sense of humor, folks. Okay. You don't need to get offended by anything. But that's what it's going to be. One of those two, probably. Again, they might have a situation where he drops out and resigns altogether, and so that they can check off the box of Kamala Harris being the first female president and a black female president, or half black. Is she 50% black? I don't remember exactly what her ethnicity is fully, but they'll check that box in case they want Gavin Newsom to run. But then if they have Big Mike running, it'll be, I say Big Mike like I'm serious, Michelle Obama running, then she might check the box too. And for whatever reason, people love her still, even though people hated Obama at the end of his run. His last couple years were an absolute disaster for him. He had a terrible approval rating. The only approval rating lower was basically Joey B now. But because it's anything but Emperor Trump or anything but anybody else but whatever, she probably has a good chance to win. And she's not stupid. She's smart. She doesn't need to be drugged up to read a teleprompter. So I don't know if that's better or worse. I don't like the idea of having, I wasn't a fan of President Barack Obama. Again, he was a smart dude. He was a very eloquent speaker, but I did not agree with some of the stuff he did. I also had to move out on a lot of stuff he did. People forget about all the drone weddings, bombings and stuff like that. I don't forget that stuff. Him and his CIA director specifically created this list of this matrix. I think I talked about this years ago on the podcast. This matrix of criteria to be eligible to get bombed by a drone. I'll put it this way. There's a lot of people eligible on that list. I think you can actually look that up on Wikipedia. Just a general idea of the disposition matrix, it's called. That's open information. But people turn a blind eye to that. Anyway, I'm rambling on with my soapbox and my opinions, and I don't want to do that. Nobody cares what my opinion is. I don't care what my opinion is on this stuff. Anyway, I'm doubling my bet. I saw that's the bottom line. I saw this ad challenging the Orange Man to more debates. I would love to see it. From a comedy perspective, I would love to see it. It would be absolutely embarrassing, again, for this country to put that on national television so that the world can see, this is what's going on with America right now. These two geriatrics crapping their pants, yelling at each other, teeth falling out, wigs and hair blowing everywhere. It would be very funny from a comedic perspective, but a very sad, embarrassing thing to show. That does not represent our country at all. But it's not going to happen. That's why I'm doubling down my bet. If I had the ability to bet on it, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, whatever, somebody put some odds on this so I could get some action in here. I'm telling you, the guy's not going to be the candidate. Okay? It took him 2 weeks to film that 12-second clip. And I know because I know how long it takes me to film a 12-second clip or a 30-second clip. There's a lot of takes. And I'm not a smart man, but I know I'm more capable and more alive than that guy is. So I'm telling you, it took him 2 weeks to film that, to make that challenge. He had to spend another hour in some sort of hyperbaric chamber like Lilu in The Fifth Element to regain his strength and to clean up after. I'm sure he crapped himself 3 or 4 times filming that all day long. Meanwhile, his wife is loving it in the back, raking in the cash and the power and authority. I think everyone says, oh, she's a piece of garbage for doing this, for for parading him out there when she knows she's a doctor. She knows that he can't handle this and he needs to be put in a home or whatever, hospice or something. I think this is her revenge because if everyone remember, here's some more conspiracy theories for you while I'm on this tangent. If you remember, Joey B met her back when he was married previously, the first time, and she was the babysitter of his children. Okay? She was a teenage babysitter of his children. And then he shacked up with her. And who knows what actually happened with her back when she was a teenager working there for that family. So this might be her revenge. Now she knows, like, oh, this is my chance to get this bastard back for everything he's done to me when I was young and impressionable and underage. Now I'm going to parade him out there. And I can't wait for the time he actually craps himself in public and it's not avoidable. You can't lie your way out of it. You're just going to see the doo-doo dripping down, seeping through his pants. And that's going to be it. Maybe this is her revenge. So I used to not like her because I was like, how could you do this to your husband? But then as I saw more information, I was like, oh, maybe good on her. So long story short, double down on your bets, folks. Double down on your bets here at the LPDS. Sorry for going on a tangent. Let's move on to something a little bit more positive and productive here. We got a Lowe's update for the folks. Bottom line, Lowe's is not on the blacklist. Lowe's has stayed off the blacklist. Okay? Now here's why. Now, if you go back last week, I believe I talked about an issue I was having with Lowe's where I purchased a tool, the multi-tool, and inside the box was a completely different used tool. The second time that Lowe's, I ordered something or I purchased something and they gave me something completely different and also secondhand. It wasn't even new. So they were about to be on my blacklist for good, but I went in there and returned the tool and told them, like, hey, whatever, I'm exchanging this. They don't have an exchange policy. They have a return policy. So they return my money and they're like, just go pick up the tool and you can go buy it. We'll give you your money back. Okay, fine, whatever. I happened to go during their Craftsman Days events. I like Craftsman tools. They have a lifetime warranty. And they were having an event, Mother's Day week event, I guess, maybe. And it was buy one tool and get one tool for free. Or a certain, if you buy one of these, you get one of these for free. You could pick and choose. So I bought the battery pack. And this is, again, I'm not giving myself any credit. I did not do this on purpose. I didn't go in there being like, I'm gonna get my money's worth plus some. No, it wasn't like that at all. I forgot that I needed to buy a battery pack for this tool because it didn't come included with the machine, with the tool itself. So I grabbed the new tool. I checked to see, we check with the cashier to make sure it's the actual tool in the box. And then I have the battery pack, which I was pissed initially because it's a 2-pack and they only sell it. It's like $100 for, and they only sell 2 packs of these 20-volt batteries. I was like, I don't need 2. I need 1, and I don't want to spend $100 on a battery. But then I get up to the cash register and the lady's like, oh, you get this buy one, get one. So you can, which one do you want for free? And of course, the batteries are more expensive than the tool. So I was like, I want the batteries for free. I will pay whatever, $78 for the tool and $0 for the battery, please. So I made out okay. All right. It wasn't fully free, only because I didn't have to fight to the death like I did with the grill way back in the day. But because of that, because I ended up being okay with them. They benefited me, Lowe's. They're on the brown list. So not exactly the blacklist is, so I'll still go to them, and they're starting to, they have the opportunity to work their way back up into a fully, like, no problem, I can go to Lowe's on a regular basis again. Right now they're a contingency option for me, and because they have Craftsman tools, that's where I will get some of my tools there. So anyway, that's the update. Um, Gotta roll through this here. Damn. I have stuff to do as usual. I have a lot of stuff to do that I'm not gonna have time to finish up because I'm recording this on a Saturday morning instead of the Friday night like I want to do because I had stuff I had to do on Friday. So I'm behind on everything, but I like recording this. I'm not looking forward to after this. After the LPDS is when I have to do all this other crap that I'm not going to get to. So pray for me if you believe in that sort of stuff. Speaking of praying, Houston had a bad storm earlier in the week, a very bad storm. It wasn't technically a hurricane. I don't know if there were any tornadoes that touched down in the area, but it was like category 3 level winds, really hard rain, bad storm. It knocked out the power in like half the city. Now, luckily for me, nothing happened. I had no power outages in my house. I had a little bit of water come in. I'm still dealing with water that seeps underneath my French doors because of the way the outside is set up. It's jacked up. I need to get like an overhang or an awning. I believe I talked about that in the past, but I'm working on that with a gutter guy to get that from all my French doors. So I had a little bit of seepage underneath there, which I expected. And then the rain was so hard that it was dripping a little bit through my chimney, even though I have a chimney cover on there. That's how it was pretty much raining sideways and then coming in that way. And I think my chimney flue is all jacked up, so it's not closed off all the way. I need to get that situated somehow. But I don't use the fireplace. It's really just for show. I might close it up for good. I'll have to consult with a real estate expert to see if that's a good idea. Because what do you need a fireplace for in Texas? Even in the winter, it doesn't get down to 12 degrees. It doesn't make any. I just don't see the point. I do want to make the mantle and stuff look good. I want to put a mantle up. I currently don't even have a mantle. I want to make it look really nice, but I'm never gonna use the damn thing. So I gotta figure all that out. I might just have it closed off. I don't know. We'll talk through with chimney experts and real estate agents to see what's best for the future of the house when it comes time to sell or rent out or whatever. But my problem with the storm was not so much the storm itself, mainly because I lucked out. It was, again, the people in 2024 devolving into utter uselessness and chaos at even the slightest inconvenience in their lives. Now, the power went out. If you look at the pictures, you can see why the power went out. Many, many power lines were taken down in the storm. Okay? Which means it's going to take a lot of time for the power companies to get out there and fix the power line out issue. Pretty standard stuff when bad storms hit and power lines go down. They need to go back up to function. So it's going to take a little time. Now, thinking outside of the emotions of it all, you have the storm. You're physically experiencing the storm. You know it's bad. Okay? You see power lines down. Your power's out. You know it's going to take hours to days to get situated. You also know that not everybody's power's out, not the entire city. So you know that you could go somewhere that has power to sustain life as needed. There are grocery stores that were still open and functioning. There were gas stations still open. There were fast food restaurants still open. There were regular restaurants still open. Meanwhile, the two things that I've seen on my phone, on my Ring app, comments from people. Look, I have 5. I don't know if you can see this. That's 5 in the last 10 minutes. If you're looking at YouTube land, those are all Ring app notifications on my phone. 5 in the last 2 minutes. We're days past the storm. And this is what I get. Here, I'm gonna just read off a couple examples. Here's one comment. Is the Kroger on Memorial open? Does anyone have AT&T phone service or fiber working? How's it been out? Anybody at the Lexington have any idea about the power update situation? Are there any updates on power restoration in Hudson Oaks? That's where I live. And then a man tried to open my door. This guy's been around my house. He tried that, so that's an actual alert for danger. So all I've been seeing for the past week now have been people either asking what food is open and around, as if they can't get in their stupid cars and drive over. Just drive west. It's well known. All the news stations are putting it out there. It's on the internet, which you can get on your phone. If you're posting comments on the Ring app, you have access to the internet through your data. Okay? Get on your phone and look. You could see what is open. Everybody is this is 2024. All the storefronts, the gyms, everybody is putting out updates online. The same online that you're using to comment with your stupid questions, with the updates on where you can access food, drink, shelter, showers, everything. If you have no power and water, there are plenty of places that have put out. I'm not even looking for this stuff. I'm just seeing it. I'm passively taking it in. And I know if I needed to go get a shower and a shelter in place, I know where to go. I know there's a gym that has it available, that offered up. I know that what grocery stores are open around me. I know what fast food is around me. I know what dog places are open around me, either boarding or pet stores or whatever. I didn't even have to look. It just pops up. It's 2024. Everything pops up in your face. And I'm sure some of these people are, maybe they're older, and they're not technologically savvy, which I understand. I can empathize with that. And I can empathize when people are in distress. Your power went out. There's no telling when it's going to come back on. You got to figure out your refrigerator situation. Am I going to lose food? I'm not rich. So if I lose this food, that's all that money is gone. All that money and food is gone. And I have to go work extra. I need to go get food. I have kids, maybe, whatever it may be. I can empathize with that. But we have to put ourselves in better positions to be able to handle stress like this. Where people are not preparing for this. This is what I sound like a crazy person every time I say to do hard things. Make yourself uncomfortable. Expand your comfort zone by putting yourself in stressful situations. Like I've been trying to do. That's why I run marathons. Because I hate it and I suck at it. And the second I start running, I'm miserable and I want to quit and cry and devolve into utter chaos and uselessness. So I do it so I can try to expand my comfort zone. And I am begging people to try to do that so that when shit hits the fan, we don't get this. My battery is dying on my phone in 35 minutes because of all the notifications of people freaking out. This is the other one I'm getting on the comments. Hey, anybody else live in these apartment complexes like me? I live here and the power's still out. Is anybody else's power out? Is the power back on yet? Dude, flip a light switch on. Try using your microwave. Turn your TV on. Charge your phone. If it's not working, the power is not on, fella. I don't know. I don't understand that. What am I missing here? What is the context I'm missing that allows that to be okay? Like, oh, this makes sense why they're asking. But when you're sitting in your own apartment complex or your own home, in your own neighborhood, and you're asking, is the power back on yet? Check! Turn on a light. You could check. If the light doesn't go on, you have your answer. Somebody help me, and I'm being serious here. If you know the context of why someone might be asking that, what is any situation, even if it's a low probability, what is any situation where somebody sitting in their own apartment or their own home that lost power because of a storm, when is it okay for them to ask others if the power's back on? If they can't check, what is a situation where they can't check for themselves by turning on a light switch or checking just looking at their power in their own house. What did we do in the 90s, in the 80s, 70s? What did people do when the power went out during a storm? We survived then. Do that. Whatever was done then, just do that. Ask your parents if you're younger, if you weren't born back then. Hey, what did you do when you didn't have this Ring app and you couldn't just bother your neighbors to find out how to live? Oh, we either called the power company, who usually has an emergency report, like a robot notice update to tell you, here's the places that have power. Here's where we're working on. You can expect power back in 12 hours, whatever it is. Because they're going to get a billion calls, so they just put that out there immediately. It's also on their website now. But back before the internets, you called in. And then when you saw that the coast was clear looking outside, like, oh, the storm's done, I'm going to get my fat ass in the car and drive around and see what stores are open and what gas stations are open. And now I know. And I did it myself. And I didn't have to bother anybody about it. Just do that. And if there's an actual extenuating circumstance where you don't have to do that and you need to rely on the Ring app in the neighborhood, tell me what that circumstance is so I can understand it better. Because right now I'm out of that. I'm an outsider looking in, and all I see is the power back on? My house power is still out. Then the power's not back on, dude. I don't understand that. I just don't. And I need help understanding it. I really do. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Here's another one. 6, 7 more. All of them. All of them. I can't. Whatever. Spearhead leadership updates. I'm upping my content creation. I'm putting out some YouTube videos, shorter ones, just some basic level, foundational leadership learning to hopefully provide some help and value to people, just to start the conversation of like how to improve discipline, how to train your sales teams, what skills to have if I get promoted to a leadership position and I don't have any leadership experience. What basic skills should I focus on, if I'm not getting any training on it? Things like that. With that, I will also be starting a leadership podcast. Now, I know there's a billion out there already, I'm sure. I listened to several of the good ones, of the top ones. But again, this is just another avenue to get some more information out there. People don't always have the ability to watch YouTube videos in the car. And especially since the YouTube app, you can't just close your phone and have it still play audio only. It closes off. So you got to watch the video to actually get the content. So I want to be able to put that value out there as well. So I'll put it out in podcast form. It'll be a video podcast as well, maybe. I'll probably do video as well. All I have to do is put the camera on. It's not going to be there's no frills. There's no cage segments. There's not going to be anything like that. But it will be an informal, comfortable sort of conversational style environment where we're talking about some, leadership topics, talk about some examples that I've had to deal with and where I failed and succeeded, to hopefully provide some help to people, some relatable help so people can improve on, their lives in some way, shape, or form. I won't have any intro music or whatever. I'll probably just put an intro like, this is the Libretti Leadership Lab or whatever. I think that's might be the name. I've been brainstorming it with some folks, and right now the front runner is Libretti Leadership Lab. But if you have ideas on a title, I need it to be catchy. I need it to be short and to the point that also, displays and is clearly describes what the podcast is. This is about leadership. This is how to be a better leader. No nonsense. This is not like going to be a podcast full of buzzwords and highbrow thinking and philosophical, theoretical thinking for executives. Like, oh, it's not. No, it's going to be blue collar leadership. Okay. So whatever is a good title, that you guys can think of. It can't be too lame or cheesy. It's got to be short, able to describe what the podcast is, but also catchy. So I'm not going to put like Libretti talking about leadership, for his company Spearhead Leadership to provide leadership value to you. That's way too long. It's got to be punchy and to the point. You get it. So if you have ideas, put them in the comments. You can text me, DM me, whatever you want to do. It'd be grateful. I would be very grateful for that. Any feedback is helpful. I don't know when it's going to be out. I'm going to start recording some shorter episodes in a batch, and then I'll start putting them out maybe twice a week. And they'll be like between 10 and 30-minute videos or podcast episodes. Again, just to get the value out there and to get more eyeballs, more avenues of eyes on Spearhead. So that's the update. Now, with that, I'm done on the soapboxes. I'm done with the conspiracy theories for today. I'm done with the stupid opinions that nobody cares about, and they're probably very ignorantly formed. We're going to get into the good stuff. We're going to step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Billy's Wonky Candy Warehouse Experience. If you're looking to have the life-changing experience like Charlie and his deadbeat grandfather without all the copyright infringement issues, then look no further than Billy's Wonky Candy Warehouse. Billy's Warehouse is sort of filled with all the memories of your favorite childhood book and movies, to include Cobgobblers, a Vanilla River, and a tour given by the famed Derpa Lurpas. So to get your yellow ticket today, head on over to your local bodega and buy every Smucker's bar possible until you find your ticket. I got nothing to say about that. All I have to say about that is somebody find me a real sponsor, for the love of God. All right. The Cage Fact. It has now officially been announced. More like a Cage update. We discussed a little while ago, I don't remember when, it's all a blur to me. We discussed a while ago that there were rumors swirling about Nic Cage starring in a Spider-Man Noir series. He was Spider-Man Noir in the Spideyverse movies, the CGI movies, and now there looks to be a series coming out. There was rumors of a series coming out. I don't know if it's actually live action or if it's going to be CGI, computer again, and he's going to be the voice. I haven't confirmed that yet. But it is officially announced that the series is happening. No release date yet, but Nic Cage is going to be Spider-Man Noir again, and it's official, announced. It's happening. So it's going to be his first scripted TV show as a star, and the premise of it, the storyline is that he is an aging detective in the 1930s, so noir style, like Dick Tracy, kind of how you doing. And he has to grapple with his past as the city's only superhero. So he's like a superhero turned detective, and he's going to grapple with that throughout the show. So very exciting news. I will keep you updated on the release date at a future Into the Cage segment whenever they release the date of that coming out. It's going to be eventually on Amazon Prime. I think it's going to be on another streaming service when it first comes out. Maybe there's a Marvel, maybe probably Disney Plus or whatever. I don't know. Is Marvel Disney? Yeah, I don't know. It'll be popped up there like new episodes, and then Prime will have the seasons, something like that. So stay tuned for that. Very exciting stuff. I am excited to see Nic Cage in a TV show, like a weekly. How you doing? Very cool. So that's the Cage Fact. We'll move on over to the Junction. We'll spin the logo up. We just got hotline calls. Got more hotline calls to go through, and I love hotline calls, but I'm probably not looking forward to these given the recent history of calls the past couple weeks. So let's just get right into it. Get into the first call right about now.
Yeah, it's your angry listener, the one who's always driving, going places with the windshield wipers going. All right. I don't appreciate how you are glazing over your previous Instagram poll shenanigans. All right. As a union man, I know how to count votes, and I know how to count votes for my favor. I didn't appreciate when we had that Christmas special how you changed the rules of how you were counting. Initially, it was going to be one comment, one vote. Now, some entrepreneurial individual may have created some troll accounts to bump up some numbers, all right? You don't need an ID to create an Instagram account, all right, and make those vote counts. So I don't appreciate you saying, I don't know what's going on. I remember I was enraged that you changed the rules midway through, and I don't think it's okay. And the fans won't stand for it.
All right. Thanks for the call. Did you say the fan won't stand for it? I'm imagining you're talking about yourself not standing for it. I remember that you created one troll account, your only Instagram account, not multiple accounts. So your vote counted once. So I don't know what you're crying about. I said the movie's a good movie. If everyone's not tracking, this fella is still crying over a Christmas movie vote we did 2+ years ago, where it was like, vote for your most popular, like your favorite Christmas movie or whatever, something like that. And we would put the results up. And his was Christmas Chronicles, a good movie on Netflix. At the time, not as many people saw the movie as they have now. I'm sure it's been years and the movie's still on Netflix. So I'm sure it's more popular. I've seen it several times since then. So several more times since then. So I don't know what the problem is. Take it up with the people who voted. I didn't vote. I didn't change any rules. I even allowed you to create fake accounts, and you only created one. So I don't know what you want me to say. Sorry, you didn't create 10 to get the votes up. And then the real voters didn't watch the movie to vote it as their top. There's too many Christmas movies out there that would make sense that more people have as their favorite than a newer movie that came out within the past 6 years. That's just how it works. So I'm sorry you're so hung up on this. If you want, feel free to stage an insurrection here at the LPDS compound if you're that butthurt about it, and we can handle things that way here in the stand your ground state of Texas. So sorry about that. I know my fan wants justice, but I don't know what to tell you. Thank you for the call, though. I love the call. Keep them coming. Let's move on to the next call here. Let's see what we got. Could be anything, folks. So stand by.
What's the deal with the Libretti Diary Podcast Show? It's not really a diary. He's not talking about his male crushes. And it's not entertaining, so it's not much of a show.
All right. Thanks for the call. This sounds like... How am I going to describe this? Okay. So you have Jerry Seinfeld, and then you have Jerry Seinfeld impersonators at the second tier. This sounds like the understudy of a Jerry Seinfeld impersonator. So if you went down to Fremont Street in Las Vegas in the 90s, when Jerry Seinfeld was probably had impersonators all over the place, it would not be the impersonator, the star of that show on Fremont Street. It would be his understudy. The impersonator is sick, so he had to hire the third string, the understudy, and that's who that sounded like. It sounded like a Jerry Seinfeld impersonator's understudy. So thanks for the call. It's Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I don't know if you have some sort of dyslexia. It's probably from like the booze and drugs. I can't imagine a healthy, like a mentally, physically healthy and well impersonator's understudy. that has drug addict, alcoholic, degenerate gambler written all over it. So it's probably why they can't read very well. So they keep mixing up the words. But thank you for the call. If you remember from episode 1 of this show, that's how we got the name. Okay, go back and watch it. It's a terrible episode. It's like 7 minutes, 8 minutes long. I don't remember how long it was. I was terrible on it. I leave it up there because it's a constant reminder to keep trying to get better in the form of putting out entertaining content for people. And I'll go back and watch it after I post this, just so I can laugh at myself and be embarrassed. But we talked about it in episode 1 back in 2020. We're talking almost 4 years ago. I think I said directly, like, I don't know what it's going to be called, the Libretti Podcast, the Libretti Diary, Libretti Show, and I don't know, it could be all those things. Something like that is what I said. And then I just did that. I just added them all together. So to the understudy, if you're sober, don't think too much into it. I know that's what you probably like to do, and that's probably why you turn to the drink or the drugs, so that you're not in your own head overthinking things. But you don't have to overthink this one. Just go work on your act and get some help. You know, you're an understudy still for a reason. If you want to up your game, go, work on your craft. But thank you for that call. We'll move on to the next one here. We're just going to keep them rolling. I think we still have like 4 more calls. A lot of calls this week. A lot of calls. I love it.
God, calling about all the talk about Nic Cage. I was wondering, on the Mount Rushmore of actors and actresses who can only take the floor, you know that Nic Cage is going to be up there for you. Who are the other 3 that are showing up? Maybe you could pose it out to the Junction. Who else would we pick? Hey, Sean.
All right, great call. Thanks for that. That's actually a great question. I don't know if we talked anything similar about this in the past. I don't think so, though. So that's a good idea. I will take the time to do that. I think that would be a good idea to have the conversation and see what people also have as their own Mount Rushmore of favorite actors. And I'll be sure to spell out the quote unquote rules as explicitly as possible for the lowest common denominator, because I know we have people with special needs when it comes to rules and regulations of polls and stuff like that. So that would be great. Yeah, Nic Cage is obviously one of them for me. I'm thinking off the top of my head. I'm not going to get into it now, but we'll have an episode. We'll put a poll out, and then we'll have an episode talking about what people said, and we'll have a good time doing that. That's a great idea. I love that. Thank you for that call. I appreciate it. And we'll move on to the next one here right now.
Hey, buddy. I still haven't heard any contact information about London Boy passed on the show. I'd really like if you share that. That's what your fans want. They want more London Boy.
I mean, Mickey sucks. Thank you for the call. It's a good Mickey Mouse. I'm not giving contact info. I don't give contact information out. You want contact information? The only one you get is the hotline. That's it. That's all you're gonna get. I'm not giving contact information out for a possibly autistic person in my neighborhood, for some creep to creep on. So get over it. Go seek some help. You and understudy Seinfeld impersonator, go get some help. But thank you for the call, though. Before you get help, keep on making those calls. I appreciate it. All right. Next call here.
Gold. Give Mickey what he wants. You don't want him angry.
All right. The hotline is getting out of control, folks. Goofy, I presume, the only Disney character to have confirmed sex with other Disney characters. I think we talked about that in the past as well. We talk about a lot of stuff on this show, folks. It's not always a family show, so I sorry to start a T on that. Sorry, Terrence. Goofy, yeah. Only character because he's the only one with a kid. Donald Duck has nephews. Mickey and Minnie don't have any kids. Goofy has a kid, so he's done Disney sex. And he's also referenced in Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, as Jessica Rabbit said, you're way better than Goofy or whatever it was, which makes it sound like she was doing not a family stuff with Goofy as well. Anyway, thanks for the call, Goofy. I have nothing to say. Just I appreciate the different personalities calling in. So thank you for that. All right, let's get to the next call here. I think this might be the last call, actually. Stand by.
Yeah, I feel like Just the Tip leadership lady was right on point. You need to listen to your fan, okay, and incorporate Nic Cage into the top three, okay? Talk about one of his movies, say how he did or did not meet the intent of your top three or big three, or whatever it is you call it, all right? Just do it one time. The fans are going to love it, okay? You'll have a hit. Maybe, expand your audience to double digits. I don't know. It's worth a shot, okay? It's worth a shot.
All right, thanks for the call there, fella. I don't need to do anything. I don't know how many times that needs to be stated. I'll try to find different ways of stating that because I realize that you have to communicate to the person specifically, and each person receives communication in a different manner. So I get that. And I need to be better at that myself. For this particular person, I will try to find more effective ways to communicate to you that I don't need to do anything on my show. If I get good ideas presented to me in a professional manner as just as what they are, ideas, like the guy, for instance, who just called in about the Mount Rushmore, asked a simple question. Hey, if you had to pick a Mount Rushmore, who would it be? Hey, what do you think about Nic Cage following the big three in this movie, in Con Air or in National Treasure? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think Nic Cage follows the big three as Castor Troy and Face Off? Different way, there are effective ways to communicate to get the response that you're looking for, and I'm failing. Okay, I'm failing to effectively communicate to this gentleman that their approach should probably change if they want to be more effective in getting their request answered and satisfied to their liking. Because as it stands now, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it every episode, that I keep getting the same method of communication. I don't need to do anything on my show that I don't want to do. I could do whatever I want. It is the Libretti Podcast Diary Show, not the Mickey show, not the London Boy show, not the YouTube commenter show. It is the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. And I said it from day one. I'm pretty sure you can, maybe not this fella because he needs everything explicitly explained to him. But on episode 1, I said, I'm doing this for me. And I'm putting it out there for feedback and for possible entertainment value of people. But I started this show for me. I'm keeping this show for me. So what we do on the show here is done by me, for me, because I want to do it. And I know that sounds, you could probably argue, oh, what kind of a person does that when they're completely disregarding their fans? I'm not. I'm going to do the Mount Rushmore of actors. Fan submission. I love that idea. That was their idea. Great idea. We're going to do the idea on a future episode. Thank you for that submission. I don't know. Again, I have to go back to the drawing board and find a more effective way to communicate out to some of these people out here. But I do appreciate the hotline call. Thank you for that. I hope you get the help you need. I hope you get the help that you and the different personalities inside of your head need. I hope this is an outlet. Maybe I sound confrontational. I don't mean to. I don't intend to be confrontational. I want you to keep calling in. And if this is your outlet, this is your way to get it out there in a healthy manner, keep it coming. Okay, I'll be a lot more receptive to that. If you just said, "Hey, I have a problem. I have several problems, and this is how I'm projecting," and that's fine. And we'll be the hotline will be your outlet. So keep calling in. Thank you for that. I think that's all the calls we have. Yep, that's it. So I've rambled on enough. I've gone down too many stupid rabbit holes I don't normally like to go down in public, but sometimes I just go off and flap my gills, and that's what happens. So before we go, though, very quickly, the big three, the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being and spreading that positivity and goodness throughout the land and to those around you. Number one, exercise every day. Physical, mental, or emotional exercise. Get out there, get your body moving, get the endorphin surging through your body. Physical activity will have a positive effect on you physically, mentally, and emotionally. But you can also do separate activities just to focus in on the mental and emotional side as well. So whatever you got to do, a physical workout, a mental workout, or emotional workout, do one thing every day to improve your physical, mental, emotional health. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person. Don't be a negative person. Be a kind person. Okay? When the opportunity arises to be negative and shitty and angry at somebody, take the LPDS step back, omit yourself from the situation, and give yourself the capacity to go focus on more productive and positive things. Okay? Because that gives you freedom. That gives you mental freedom and ability to go do something better with your day and your time. And it minimizes the negativity and the chaos and the shit going on in the world. It's very tough to do. It's a constant battle for me, and I fail on a regular basis, and I constantly have to go back to the drawing board and continue to work to improve myself. That's why I say it's the hardest one to do. It's easy to talk about. Right now, it's easy. Just don't engage. Whatever, let it go. But it's very tough in the moment. I understand that. Number three, the most important one. This will help with number two, by the way. Be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. If you spend more time actively thinking about the good things you have in your lives and being grateful for them, it will be a lot easier in the long run to remove yourself from negative situations. You won't even be attracting negative situations to you because you'll be too busy living in gratitude by taking that step back, thinking about what your life would be like without the good things you have in your life. Roof over your head, a hotline to call into, toilet, whatever. You put yourself in that state of gratitude by thinking about that stuff. And the more and more you do that throughout the day, the more and more your day is going to be filled with gratitude and the better you're going to feel. And you couple that with not being a shitty person and you couple that with exercising every day. And I promise you, you will become a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being and can spread that goodness to everybody around you. Good is contagious, folks. Okay? Good is just as contagious as negativity and garbage. It's just a lot easier to live in the negative and spread that virus out there as opposed to the positivity one. So take that time to follow the big three as best you can, and you'll see it spreading to those around you. It'll take a while, but it'll get there. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have ideas for Spearhead stuff, let me know. Go check that stuff out. Let me know what I could do better on that. If you don't like this show, tell your enemies to troll the show with comments and engagement and thumbs downs and hotline angry calls. I love it. Call the hotline. Keep it going. I love the hotline calls, as angry as they may be. Keep them coming. I love it. 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.